welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers, a statistics in sports podcast. I am your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I'm Corbin Heller.
And today we've gone back to our topics on baseball. We're talking about leadoff hitters in the major leagues. A leadoff hitter, for reference, is the person hitting in the one spot, the first person that comes up to bat in the game. Do you have any opening remarks on leadoff hitters before we kind of get into numbers? Things you look for in particular, intangibles?
So before I really got into baseball, probably 2 seasons ago, I always kind of figured that, fuck off. I always kind of figured that leadoff hitters were just like always the super small, tiny guy who could run really fast and just always get on base. Like essentially what the Reds wanted Billy Hamilton to be, you know, your Francisco
Brett
Lindor.
Gardner.
Yeah, Brett Gardner, guys like that. And then teams kind of started switching in the past couple years, putting guys like George Springer, who is just a home run monster at the leadoff spot, Charlie Blackmon, Mookie Betts, even though he is still extremely fast. And
he should be hitting too. I don't get that at all.
Regardless, I really like the change, and I'm a big fan of getting a power hitter at that one spot and just kind of like say fuck it, hit for the fences and start us off strong. How about you?
Leadoff hitter is, to me, one of the most interesting spots in baseball strategy, I guess, like old school baseball strategy, because it's such a unique position. Because in my eyes, 2 through 9, you're going to order your best hitter to your worst hitter. You know, and then, you know, you'll adjust based on dexterity, you know, right or left against pitcher who is right or left and that kind of small shit. But in general, 2 through 9 is just who are the best hitters on your team with slight reordering for, like, little things. But 1, hitting first, is such a uniquely different trait that I just find it so interesting. Because it doesn't have to be your best hitter, right? A team can pick out what they think is most valuable and then put that as being the thing that the reasoning they're going to put you in the one spot, right? Are you a really high on-base percentage guy because they want to have traffic on the bases early? Are you a really fast guy because they want you to steal bases because they're trying to get a contact team because maybe their actual hitting's not so great, but they have a good contact percentage, you know? Are you a big home run threat and they're trying to do a core set and get everything off early? It's such a weird and different and unique spot. I love leadoff hitting. I think it's such an interesting, it sets the tone for the game. It lets everyone know what's going on, and we'll talk about a few other things with it as we get into the episode, but it's such a different spot in terms of lineup construction. I think it's just fascinating. Also, one of the things to keep in mind is as you get higher up in the order, so you're 1, 2, and 3 guys, if you're hitting first, you're going to be getting the most plate appearances on your team, right? If you hit in the one spot every single game for 162 games, like you're going to be getting more plate appearances, even if it's just slightly, than the guy who's hitting 2. Who's going to get more plate appearances, even if it's slightly than the guy who's hitting 3, just because you're going to be coming up more. You know, you're going to be the last out sometimes. It's just, you know, exposure, I guess, the ability to come up more. So that's one of the reasons you also see lineups kind of constructed the way they are, with the best hitters being up at the top, because you want your best hitters to be hitting as much as possible. Like 2 years ago when Giancarlo Stanton had 59 home runs. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And the Marlins were trying to get him to hit 60, so they put him in the leadoff spot just so he could get more plate appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly why. Just that's how math works here, folks. So should we get into?
We can do it sometimes
when we want to. You
really
want to get
basic stuff.
You want to get into the numbers on this then?
Yeah, let's hit it off.
Okay,
See what I did
so
there?
I pulled up.
That was a good pun.
Yeah, that's okay. I pulled up a bunch of stats off of Fangraphs that I combined into a thing here. I also pulled one single stat off of Baseball Reference that had a manual input, but that's okay. I just work super hard at this. So I did a split leaderboard on Fangraphs' website based on people who hit first. And once again, as I mentioned before, when talking about Fangraphs' split leaderboard, it shows everything. It does not just show like the times at which you hit in the leadoff spot. Baseball References actually does, but I have gripes with both of them, I guess, and they're really minute only because I'm using this for such a specific thing. Like, it's not their fault that I need a very, very specific data set, and theirs is not that. So I guess this just shows, like, if you have hit in the leadoff spot, you get put in this kind of the same way, like Max Muncy got put all of his plate appearances in as a first baseman and a third baseman. I think it's like that kind of setup here. Right. So, of people who hit in the leadoff spot very consistently, I've sorted it out by plate appearances. So the most, by a fuck ton, by the way, was Francisco Lindor, who had 720 plate appearances. And second on the list is Cesar Hernandez of the Phillies, who had 660. Like, that is such a huge difference. And the drop-offs here are really big. And then, like, George Springer had 617, and then Mookie Betts had 608, and then it shoots way the fuck down to Matt Carpenter with the Cardinals at 522. John Jay at number 6 with 511, and then Whit Merrifield, Brett Gardner, and Shin-Soo Choo and D. Gordon are the rest of the top 10 in terms of plate appearances as leadoff hitters. So what kind of sense are you getting just from looking at these 10 names of, like, what's the picture in your mind of a leadoff hitter right now?
All of these guys are, well, almost all of these guys are extremely fast, hit for decently high on base percentage, all have, a good amount of power still left in them. Maybe not Brett Gardner, but
Brett Gardner has never had power to lose. Like, yeah, no.
You think with those forearms he'd be able to hit something far, but no.
Last year he did. Last year he had like 20-something home runs. I wouldn't count on that ever.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, really.
But what stands out to me here is just all of these guys have a good mix of power, speed, and hitting. Like, there's no Billy Hamiltons who are just speed. There's no pure contact hitter. There's no pure, power hitter like a Joey Gallo or something like that. It's all a nice mix between all of them.
Yeah, these are the guys whose skills work perfectly if there's no one on base.
Yep.
That's really what it is. These are guys who are going to, like, Joey Gallo's skill set is mostly useful when there's guys on base. Mm-hmm. Because he's either going to walk him
only
over.
Useful when there's guys on base.
Except on third, apparently, because Joey Gallo's never had a sacrifice fly. And I still can't get over that. Joey Gallo, I hit more home runs than singles, has never had a sac fly. And I don't understand it, and I want someone to ask him why. Why do you do this, Joey?
We could do a whole episode on the enigma that is Joey Gallo.
He is one of the most fascinating human beings in baseball. And anyway, yeah, it's the same kind of out. This is a lot of these dudes are who you think of when you think of stereotypical leadoff hitters. Cesar Hernandez, I wasn't picturing at all.
No,
but I mean, you look at Whit Merrifield. He led the American League in both hits and stolen bases last year. Brett Gardner, D. Gordon. Shin-Soo Choo, like, these are very, like, speedy dudes, slap single kind of guys, and people, and, look at, like, Mookie Betts. You're going to be getting a lot of dudes that have the ability to see a lot of pitches, which we will also be getting into that. So one of the things that I thought would be interesting is if Corbin and I kind of picked out some stats that we thought would be most important for talking about leadoff hitters, and then just talking about, I actually made up a little fun little equation of sorts that I thought we could also look at. But if you had to give me, Corbin, your rundown of what stats you think are most important for talking about a leadoff hitter, where would you end up?
So I would say my big three in no particular order is on-base percentage, strikeout percentage, and honestly, probably walk rate. Just the ability to, well, I don't know. If I say walk rate, that kind of digs into on-base percentage. So I'm going to switch it up and go slugging percentage because I love those power guys at the leadoff spot. So strikeout percentage, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage.
Tell me why for each of them.
Strikeouts, there's really no better way to start yourself in the hole in an inning or in a game if by striking out. Nice little fact here: you can't get on base if you strike out. Well, you
Fascinating
can, actually.
Stuff. Yeah, I guess drop third strikes, but that's so fucking rare.
Exactly. On base percentage, again, kind of a gimme. Just can you get your ass on base? I don't care how, just get there. And the good old Moneyball way. And then, like I said earlier, with the love of big swingers at the opening spot, slugging percentage, can you get deep on base? Can you get to second, third? Can you hit a home run early on? Start that momentum early.
Okay. I'm mostly with you. I'm gonna disagree just a little bit on strikeout percentage, and I thought about that a lot when I was trying to pick out mine. And so one of the stats that I picked for mine is pitches per at bat, which is the one stat I had to pull off a Baseball Reference that's not on Fangraphs, at least in a very consumable fashion. Because let me ask you, Corwin Heller, if your leadoff guy goes up there and sees 15 pitches, 15, and ends up striking out, are you that upset?
No, but seeing 15 pitches to start off a game is also exceedingly rare.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, because my thing is I want my batters to be seeing the pitches. So if you are a guy who can average out 6 to 9 pitches, no, that's a little bit harsh. Maybe 5 to 7 pitches per plate appearance. I'll take a slightly higher strikeout percentage than average. Maybe. I'll put it this way: if you have a good on-base percentage and you have a good pitches per at bat, I can live with some strikeouts. Now, granted, no one's going to go up there and see 15 pitches per at bat. That's extreme. But all I'm saying is, I didn't include strikeout percentage. I included strikeouts in mine. Raw strikeouts.
Right. Yeah, I do see that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to give my reasoning on it.
I see your point.
Yeah.
Where I'm coming from, I don't want a guy like Yohan Moncada, a guy like Joey Gallo, like big numbered strikeout guys to be consistently being like putting the team in a hole whenever they're leading off.
No, I got you.
I see the mean where, or I see what you mean where it's kind of hard to look at strikeout percentage and say that was a bad at bat every time. But that's how I feel.
No, I completely. I'm just trying to offer that other little part of it that I look at, which is why I think pitches per at bat is so, because I think I value, and I think I actually put it in this little equation I came up with, which I can read off in a second. But I value the number of pitches you see more than I value how many times you struck out. Yeah, and actually, I don't think I. Okay, so I devised this equation. So I picked out as my stats that I thought were important. I picked on base percentage, much as Corwin did. I picked walk percentage. I picked pitches per plate appearance, as I mentioned. I picked the raw number of strikeouts, total strikeouts, and this kind of old stat, but has some relevance called speed that Fangraphs keeps track of still. Okay, so what I did was, as we'd mentioned in like our QBR episode, and anytime we've brought up like weighted formulas before, weights are just a numerical way of you displaying a value that you assign to these statistics, right? So what I have is I have on-base percentage times 20. 20 is the highest one I put. So like 20 is like on-base percentage is the most important stat in this equation. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what everyone's going to care about the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then I have walk percentage minus 8, and then that number times 5. So what I did with that is I 8's a little bit random, but what I settled on is I believe 8 is around league average. And if you're going to be my leadoff hitter, I want you to be above that.
Okay.
So
Makes a lot of sense.
if you can't walk to league average, I know your on base is going to be nice. It's going to be boosted by maybe your batting average, as I think we'll see with like George Springer doesn't walk a lot. Yeah, his isn't great. No, he does. Sorry, he does. You're right. I should have picked D. Gordon because D. Gordon's not good at walking at all. But yeah, so
I didn't know that you could get that number that low.
I think he only walked 7 times last year.
Holy shit. He has a 1.6% walk rate for those of you who are not looking at this while listening, which I'm assuming none of you are.
Yeah, he does not walk much at all. So anyway, walk rate minus the constant, which I'm saying is about league average, times 5. So that has a value. It's not a ton, but it has value. Then I have pitches per plate appearance. So how many pitches are you going to see on average when you walk up to the plate? Okay, minus 4. Now that's actually relatively high. As you can see, there's quite a number of players who fall below that mark. But again,
but never by a lot.
Yeah, never by a lot. Now, if you had expanded this out to players who don't primarily hit out of the leadoff spot, I'm sure this would look much worse. Because I'm sure you're going to see a lot of players who don't make it to 4. A lot more players who don't even hit 4. There'll probably be a lot of 3s and maybe even some. Probably no one's going to be 2, but I'll say a lot of maybe low end 3s on that. Solely because, again, if you're my leadoff guy, I need you to see pitches. I need you to come up to the plate ready to foul balls off, ready to hold back on your swings. You know, this is being important to me. So I did minus 4, so that it takes away some of. You have to be above that for it to be a positive. Because if you're below that, I see that as being a negative. So that takes care of both ends right there, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're who's not great that I can pick on right now, John Jay, with a 3.85. That means that you're 0.15 less than I want you to be at. So this is going to be a detriment to your score. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply that by 15 because I personally weight that highly. Did you want to jump in?
I was really hoping you'd pick on D. Gordon again because he's at 3.38.
I wasn't.
How is he good at baseball? I don't get it.
Oh, he's not good at baseball. He's not good. He's not good at baseball. He's an okay defender, and he's a bad bat. And he has a steroid suspension. Like, I don't get him at all. He's a weird dude. Anyway, then I have like this speed rating because I want my guy to be quick. So I don't know how they find this, but I just calculated a quick average using Excel, and they said it was around 5, so I did speed minus 5, so you got to be above that for me to care about you. Below that, I think it's, as we said with pitch per plate appearance, a detriment, so speed minus 5, and then that number times 4, because I weight that the least, but it's there. Second least, I should say. And then that minus total number of strikeouts times 0.02, because I care about strikeouts just a little bit. Not much. I care about strikeouts 0.02% of the time. And then...
Nope. 2% of the time.
You're right. 2%. I'm wrong. 2% of the time. And then I divided it by 20 just so that this looks more like a baseball slash line stat. So it looks kind of like, like slugging or OPS. Right?
And it does. It looks real good.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how it ended up looking. Okay, so as of right now, I have everything sorted by plate appearance. What do you want to see out of the traditional stats? Not my equation. Pick something for me to sort by.
I want to sort by pitches per plate appearance.
All right, that's gonna be an interesting one. So Andrew McCutchen leads in pitches per plate appearance. Oh, why didn't my whole thing? Hold on, give me 1 second.
Right.
Something didn't.
Yep.
Oh, it didn't go all the way down. That's my bad. Okay, 1 second. Because I fucked up. Okay, there we go. So, pitches per plate appearance. Largest to smallest. Andrew McCutchen, yeah, 4.4. Jesus, Kutch. That's so fucking many. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I love them.
That's good
so
for
much.
an 18.5 walk percent, which is so comically higher than number 2 of being Curtis Granderson, who's second in both of these categories, as these two are probably very related. Wow.
So
Kutch.
what's wild to me is he has just a super high pitches per plate appearance, super low strikeout, super low caught stealing. Well, not super low. Average
5.
caught stealing. A super high walk rate and just a respectable 0.414 on base percentage. But having a 4.1 speed leaves him with only. Actually, it doesn't calculate it here.
Yeah, that's what I was just doing. I just forgot to drag it down all the way. So if you just drag it down all the way, it should fix it. No, it leaves him with a 0.74, 740. I just labeled this. What do you want to call this? Leadoff stat?
Yeah, leadoff stat.
Leadoff number. I mean, and 740. That seems
It's not bad.
Yes. Let me do an OPS plus version of this, where I'll do it. Jesus. So he's got a 133. I'll call that Josh Plus. Oh man, that's a fuck ton, Kutch. Jesus. So basically, Kutch is a 33% better than our average looking leadoff hitter here. That's so fucking good. Oh, that's so fucking good. I love Andrew McCutchen. What do you think Andrew McCutchen's WRC plus is?
Ooh, I have no idea. Give me a baseline to base this off of, so I don't sound super dumb.
What do you mean?
Like, what's the league average WRC plus? 100?
Yeah.
115.
Way better, actually. 147.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's because the dude just walks.
nice.
Dude walks so
Yeah.
much. Like, it really helps to walk. So not only is he 47% better than the average league hitter, he's also 33% better than your average leadoff hitter. And your leadoff hitters, now your number 2 hitter is going to be your best hitter, but your leadoff hitter is supposed to be like one of your top 3 or 4 hitters. Like, Kutch is really good at what he does. Kutch is a very professional hitter, I think is where Kutch is at.
I think if anyone described Andrew McCutchen as professional, I don't think anyone would argue that.
No,
I feel like that describes him as a person to a T.
The dude's money. Give me another one of these numbers you'd like to sort by.
Let's do strikeouts. Ooh.
All right, so let's sort by strikeouts. Largest to smallest, shocker, Yoan Moncada with the most. I'm also surprised, though, he actually has a 10.2 walk percentage. That's actually kind of interesting. I didn't think he walked that much.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Now, 10.2 is not like earth-shattering like Kutch's 18, but I mean, that's very respectable. Very respectable.
Above average.
Certainly. So he's sporting a 4.11 pitches per plate appearance, which is really solid. On base of 324 is kind of low, but like it's there. Speed of 6 is very good. This all works out to a 707 in our little leadoff equation, and then a 135.5 leadoff equation plus, which means he's 35% better than everyone on this list. Corbin, would you like to know who's lowest?
I do want to know.
Then let's find out.
I'm assuming it's George Springer.
No, it is Albert Alomara Jr. with negative $1 million.
Oh man.
Negative
Holy
$1 million.
How does that happen?
It's negative 379, and that works out to a negative 1,184.4. this little leadoff equation plus. It's because his pitches per plate appearance is 3.36. He's got 37 strikeouts, which I guess isn't awful, but his speed is 2.6. His walk percentage is 5.6. Don't forget, I said walk as being, he has to be more than 8 to be positive, because 8's kind of league average here, and the average speed was 5, and he's half of that. Wow, yeah, he went negative hard here. Holy shit. Wow, that's bad.
I'm surprised. So, George Springer has the 5th worst on this list out of, how many people do you put on here?
40,
39?
I think.
No, 39.
I'll believe you.
Which is surprising because none of his numbers really ever jump out as bad. Like, he's getting 4 pitches per plate appearance, which isn't that bad. He does have a lot of strikeouts, but he also had, over 600 plate appearances compared to some of these guys who are just over 2. His walk rate is above average. His on-base percentage is respectable. He's got low speed, but that shouldn't affect it too much. But that all comes out to a 206 leadoff rate, whatever we're calling this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that all has to do with the weighting system that we have, but I'm surprised that he's this low.
All right, so Corin and I ended up having to edit a lot out because we realized that there was a mistake in the way I had typed out the Excel formula where I had issued a constant on accident that had spread to everybody in the thing, which is what was giving us funky-ass results. So we fixed that, and we have a new top 5, a correct top 5 in our system. Actually, real quick, first, you know what I want to look at? I want to look at George Springer to see where he's at now. So can you find George Springer?
He dropped all the way down to 33rd in
Yeah,
our
wow,
rankings
he's still not
with
good.
an LHR of a .08 and an LHR plus of 21.
Yeah, wow. He got worse. He was being helped a lot by that accidental constant.
Yeah.
That's really strange. Damn. All right, well, never mind then. So we have a top 5 here of Mookie Betts, Brett Gardner, Ronald Acuna, Trey Turner, and Brandon Nimmo. What do you make of these top 5?
It's a lot closer to what I would have imagined them being when we started this whole exercise.
Yeah, same.
Brandon Nimmo is probably the most surprising out of any of them. If you aren't a Brett Gardner fan, like you have made me. But, I mean, he was fantastic in his, rookie seasons for the Mets. I'm surprised that number 6 goes to Delino DeShields from the Rangers. I never would have thought that. Andrew McCutchen fell all the way down to 12. Charlie Blackmon at 13. I'm upset Francisco Lindor fell down to 20 with a LHR plus of 113. D. Gordon's down at 25, where he should be. George Springer at 33, DJ LeMahieu at 35, and Albert Almora Jr. at 39, with a LHR of negative .598 and an LHR plus of a negative 159.
Is Albert? I can't believe it's so weird looking at these numbers that Albert Almora Jr. is good at baseball. Like you'd think he's terrible.
Honestly, I'm looking up his baseball reference just to see what he's done. I mean, he's had 3 seasons. 2 full seasons in the league. He has no power. He doesn't have any RBIs. He doesn't walk. He has a decent batting average, a decent on-base percentage. I don't know. I'm not saying there's much hope for him, but I'm also not saying he should be lead off for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. So, I also don't think Mookie Betts should be lead off for the Red Sox, despite the fact he leads this list. Because he's
Because he's too good of a hitter.
Exactly. He's so fucking good. Why bat him with nobody on base? Like, I'd much rather see... No, I wouldn't, because then that means the Red Sox get better. But if I was running the Red Sox, I would much rather put someone who's also good on the base paths like Mookie Betts is, or also has... Obviously, not everyone on the team is going to have the fucking stupid high on-base percentage that this man sports. But, like, even if you just switch places between him and Andrew Benintendi, I think that would make more sense. Just because Mookie Betts is such a fucking great ball player. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to capture with the... sorry, I forgot to turn you off. Just give me 1 second. That's what I wanted to capture with this shit, is like, leadoff hitting is such a different skill set independent of being a hitter. There's so much more that goes into it.
So I went and looked up the projected lineup for the Boston Red Sox for 2019 on RotoChamp, and they project Andrew Benintendi to lead off for them and Mookie Betts to hit in the 2 spot.
I think that just makes so much more sense.
It really does. I mean, especially with JD Martinez and Xander Bogaerts in the 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a powerful starting lineup.
Yeah,
at the top.
That's such a good starting lineup. You really don't even need to worry about having that much speed on the base paths, because those guys are just going to knock everyone in, as evidenced from last season.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, like, Brett Gardner's getting by on this list because, like, his on-base percentage is, like, okay, but he's got great speed for a dude of his age. No, he's got great speed in general. He sees a ton of pitches. He doesn't strike out a ton. He's got a very respectable walk rate. I mean, he's a very, very good leadoff hitter, although I understand last season it didn't look as though he was doing so hot because his batting average was fucking bad. But as a leadoff hitter goes, I mean, he's... to me, he's either 1 or 9, depending on how you want to play it. He's either batting first or batting last, depending on your view of things. And so after kind of going through all this... What are some of your takeaways? How would you change this equation? Give me some thoughts in general on what we've been doing here.
I mean, I already kind of mentioned what I would change to it, and we made those tweaks when we did the formula. So we did change the strikeout to a strikeout percentage based off of plate appearances, and that kind of helped even things out based on... guys like Mookie Betts with over 600 plate appearances are going to have significantly more strikeouts than a guy with 200. So that kind of evens that out a little bit. I might include slugging percentage just so you have a little better idea of what, like, if they are trying to go for getting early runs, getting, extra bases early on, seeing that kind of stuff. But I actually like this a lot.
Thanks,
buddy.
I
think this works out really nicely, and I think it gives us a really good idea of what makes a good leadoff hitter.
So one of the things, actually, speaking of slugging, I have 2 thoughts on it. So the reason I didn't include it is because I've often wondered how much being, like, super fucking fast will affect your slugging. Like, Jason Giambi getting a double isn't necessarily the same thing as, like, Andrelton Simmons getting a double,
Right.
So I thought about it, because you're right. Like, the more bases you take, the better. I thought overall, though, without having too many variables, on base percentage might be best. But I'm not sure there's enough there for an entire episode. But what do you think about how speed factors in just to slugging?
I think it basically so. Obviously, smaller guys are going to end up being faster guys. I think it really just makes up for that lack of power.
Yeah.
Like, yes, a Jason Giambi double is different than a Simmons double. But at the end of the day, what did Moneyball teach us? A double's a double. It doesn't matter how you get there. It's just that you get there. So that's why I like the slugging percentage idea. Just, if you're building a team... you're going to take what you can get and everything you can get with it. So that's why, a double's a double. Doesn't matter how you get it. That's all I got to say.
No, I feel you. I definitely wouldn't, like, knock Andrelton Simmons if I'm trying to compare him to David Ortiz and be like, David Ortiz had to knock his doubles around the park, and Dralton Simmons could get a double without leaving the infield, or some stupid shit. Because, he is fast. I was just, solely for this exercise, I thought to leave it off only because I thought speed might be more applicable. But, yeah, I really think it works either way. That's kind of what we were talking about several times before with how, weighted equations is how you want to value different things. That's really all weighted equations are. It's your own personal valuation. So if you had to put slugging in, you don't have to give me an exact number of what you would weight it at, but would it be near the top, middle, or bottom of your weights?
I'd say a weight of 10.
That'd be third, right? Would I have it right now?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's behind on base percentage and pitches per appearance.
No, I feel you. I think that
I still love that strikeouts is a 2% weight. I just find that hilarious.
Yeah.
We're going to include strikeouts, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's what it is. I mean, we can make it bigger, but I didn't care enough.
I want to change it from 0.02 to 4 and see what happens. Ooh. So let's rank this. So basically nothing changes in the top 9. Yoan Moncada falls down a little bit, but that's probably one of the least surprising things ever.
Yeah, well, also one of the things is I feel like the strikeouts are kind of grouped into who has a bunch, who has very few, and then everyone's in between.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Peraza, who barely registers as a person with only 210 plate appearances, or 229 plate appearances, only has 19 strikeouts because he didn't play that much. But Yoan Moncada has 150. But I feel like most people are in that I don't know, 50 to 100 mark. So I guess I could see why it wouldn't change much. Right?
Yeah, I feel you. So I changed strikeouts in your formula to strikeout percentage.
Yes.
And man, I am amazed by Albert Almora's strikeout percentage.
Oh, I didn't look at it.
I want you to guess what it is. Guess what it is.
Oh my God, it's going to be really high. I'm not even going to look at his number of strikeouts. I'm going to say 40.
Incorrect.
What is it?
42.3.
Oh, I was so close. I was legit worried you were going to say, no, it's 60. Dude, that's really fucking bad.
God, if you change it... what the fuck did I change? Oh, yeah, so looking at it, do you know what just that little change changed Mookie Betts' LHR plus to?
What?
310.
Oh my God, he's just so good at baseball.
That's fucking wild.
Dude
He's
never
so
strikes
good.
out.
Brett Gardner's at 292.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone disrespects Brett Gardner because he didn't have a great hitting season last year, but he's still just a phenomenal leadoff guy. I understand why they moved him out of the leadoff spot because he's becoming a worse hitter, but he's how much WAR do you think he was worth last year?
5 WAR.
5? Jesus, no, not that much. Oh my God.
Probably 3.5.
2.8. So you're pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because he's got such great defense, he's got such great base running. He just strikes out a fucking ton. Or no, I'm sorry, he just can't hit for shit. I should say, cannot get ball to bat well no more. But I guess that's okay.
12 home runs though, damn. Way to be, Brett.
Yeah.
He had 21 home runs 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Damn.
Because he was in that competition with what's his face? Matt Holliday. All right, if you had to give me Corwin's top 3 leadoff hitters of all time, who would you say?
I don't fucking know 3 leadoff hitters from anything other than like this past 2 years.
So you've never heard of such greats
I
as
couldn't have given you that information.
Ricky Henderson, Wade Boggs.
I've heard of them.
Ichiro Suzuki.
I don't know them as leadoff hitters.
No.
I can't tell you when they batted in the order.
Tim Raines, Pete Rose.
Oh, fuck off. Pete Rose sliding head first.
Charlie Hustle, man. I mean, Ricky Henderson's, I think, unanimously the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. All right, let me ask you this. Who would you rather have as a leadoff hitter between Ricky Henderson, who was a steals machine, or Ichiro Suzuki, who was a hits machine?
I would say Ichiro just because I personally don't value steals that heavily compared to hits. So I would take Ichiro.
Oh, man, it's Ricky all the way. Don't forget, he is the all-time leader in steals in baseball history. The man was filthy. Filthy. Plus, he had a great slugging. Ichiro didn't walk.
You asked me whether or not I want stolen bases or if I want hits.
No, I know, but I'm giving my answer now.
Okay.
Am I allowed to do that?
I'll allow it.
That's right. Suck my dick. Plus, I think at that point, since we're just comparing two greats, I want the thing that looks cooler. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like if you had to pick between having
man, 1,400 steals. If
you had to pick between having Babe Ruth or what's his fucking name from the Red Sox? Ted Williams. Yeah, Ted Williams. I mean, I'd pick Babe Ruth. I mean, as a Yankees fan, but also because the dude did it with such style. You know, like there's no wrong choice. You're getting one of the 2 greatest baseball players of all time anyway. But if I have to choose between the 2, give me the dude that fucking pounded beers and hot dogs the whole time while doing it, you know?
Yeah. That's why I would take Barry Bonds.
Oh, God, Barry. Barry went up to the plate with attitude, man.
He wanted to hurt the ball.
He wanted to hurt every motherfucker in the stadium not wearing his jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, man, fuck
I love
Barry.
Barry Bonds.
Oh, I really hope this time next year, man, we're talking about how he finally made it into the Hall of Fame.
He deserves it. I mean, I know, that steroids thing was a thing that happened. But I hope he gets in. Like, if I had to buy a baseball jersey, it would be Bo Jackson and then Barry Bonds for the Pirates.
Oh, Barry Bonds Pirates jersey. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, that's cool.
Well, I mean...
No, I get why. I didn't even think about it. In my mind, he's always a Giant. Like, there's a small part of me that just always forgets he was on the Pirates.
See, I only ever think of him as a Pirates player.
Really?
I know he did everything with the Giants, but he's a bucko to me.
I respect it. I respect it a lot. I still think of Curtis Granderson as a Yankee. Still. I will never not think of Curtis Granderson as a Yankee. Despite the fact he hasn't been a Yankee in years. And he was a Met. You
mean Mets Hall of Famer? Curtis Granderson?
Do you think Curtis Granderson goes to the Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah, I wish he would because I love him so much, but I don't think he does either. I don't think he's got the numbers.
All right. I have a non sequitur that I forgot to talk about last night with you.
Okay, go
for this.
That's fine. We'll wrap up with this.
Super Bowl.
Go ahead.
Okay, so last night was the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We recorded our Super Bowl episode directly after, which has, by the time you're listening to this, probably 2 weeks ago.
About.
I don't know when this is coming out. We just talked about it, but I don't remember. How many people after the game were talking about whether or not Julian Edelman was a Hall of Famer?
Oh, fuck that. Really?
There was a lot of talk on Twitter, and they actually said it during the broadcast. Nate Burleson said it. He said that this MVP performance cemented Julian Edelman's Hall of Fame status, which I think is unbelievable.
Cemented?
That's ridiculous. Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Famer. Not even close. He has never been to a Pro Bowl. He's never been an All-Pro.
I want you to guess for me. How many touchdowns do you think Julian Edelman has in his entire career?
In his entire career.
I
would say somewhere in like the 30s.
He has 30 exactly.
Boom.
This is a man who's been in the league for almost 10 years. I think 9 seasons, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. And he has 30 touchdowns. He has 22 fumbles. Like, he's a decent player. He's got a great postseason lore about him. What with that catch last year. Yeah. But he's not going into the Hall of Fame, man. It's no. I was hearing a lot of talk because
he is the perfect system quarterback for Bill Belichick's offense. That's it.
Yeah, he is. He's a perfect slot receiver.
Like, he's a tremendous slot receiver at creating space and getting open, but that's it.
I was seeing, because I follow a lot of baseball guys, a lot of conversation about should Julian Edelman have been allowed to play in the postseason, because he got suspended early in the year for PEDs. And the rule in baseball is if you get a PED suspension at any point during the season, you are ineligible for play in the postseason. So, like, Robinson Cano would not have been allowed to play for the Mariners should they have made the postseason, because, they didn't. But if they did, he wouldn't have. What do you think about that?
And I love that rule.
I think it's great.
I love that rule. It gives you a reason other than being suspended. Like, all right, that sounds dumb, but it gives players a legitimate reason to not do PEDs.
Especially when the suspension's only 4 games. You're going to tell me I can take 4 weeks off, do drugs, and still play in the postseason? Fuck it. Why not?
And win Super Bowl MVP? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not saying like this is just proof that the Pats are cheaters or anything. Like, those are the rules they played by him. Like, more power to him, Like, that's how it breaks. This is, for me, a more in general thing. I think that they probably should look at it going forward,
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think that of all the players that have been shafted when it comes to the NFL Hall of Fame, if Julian Edelman got in with the way his career is panned out right now, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
Unfortunately, at this point, though, this is very old news, so we should probably just call it a day because this shit's been done for weeks. Do you have any closing remarks on leadoff hitting in baseball? Anything we talked about today?
I really want to, after we're done finishing this, I really want to plug Barry Bonds' stats into this formula and see how he would do.
I bet very well. Yeah, I just want to say I really, really want to emphasize how much I love pitches per at-bat, because I really think that that's so important. Because I was talking to Corwin before we started recording, and one of the reasons I just love it is, like, if you have a guy who struck out as your leadoff hitter strikes out, but he saw, like, a stupid amount of pitches. He saw 12 pitches, 15 pitches. You take that strikeout every time. I mean, would you prefer a hit there? Yeah, of course. You'd always prefer a hit. But if you had to choose between seeing 1 pitch versus seeing 15, I think I'd take the 15 and the strikeout. I actually think I would, because part of the deal is you want a pitcher to have to use up his arsenal. You want the people on the bench to see what's going on. You want the pitcher to get fucking annoyed. And you want to get him working early. Because one of the other things to think about, let's imagine your team, stupid good at seeing pitches. Everyone on your team saw 10 pitches in that bat, just to make this easy for me. The pitcher will be out of the game in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
Assuming he gets everyone out. Assuming all those are strikeouts. Your starting pitcher will be out of the game in the 4th inning. Now, granted, that's never going to happen, because to average 10 per game or per at-bat is ludicrous. But you can see what I'm getting at, driving up those pitch counts. And that starts with the leadoff hitter, because pitchers don't want to throw all their pitches in the first inning, in the first time for the lineup. if you ever hear pitchers talk, they'd be like, I want to save my curveball for the second time I see this guy. I want to save my slider for the third time I see this guy. I don't want to have to throw my slider at the first plate appearance with this man. You know, I want to stick with my fastball and my changeup and work off of that. You know, I don't want to give this guy my entire arsenal in one go. And I really, really love pitches per at bat. Like, oh, give me the good stuff, Daddy. That's where I'm at.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This is juicing the numbers after hours. Oh yeah. All right, we done?
Yeah, I think we're done.
All right. If you want to send us an email, you can hit us up at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. If you want to find our website that has this information and more, you can go to juicingthenumbers.wixsite.com/website. That's juicingthenumbers.wixsite.com/website. You can find us on Twitter at juicingpod. It's juicingpod. And y'all have a good one.
Peace.